The Royal Canadian Naval Ships Memorial Monument faces Lake Ontario at Spencer Smith Park in downtown Burlington. It honors the memory of the Canadian ships and sailors that served during the Second World War. The monument lists the names of all the ships involved in the 6-year Battle of the Atlantic from September 1939 to May 1945, including both the Royal Canadian Navy and the Canadian Merchant Navy. The artist, Colonel André D. Gauthier, OMMCD, is a Canadian monument sculptor and designer. Many of his works relate to the profession of arms in the Canadian Army, Navy, and Air Force. The monument was built by public subscription on land provided by the City of Burlington and was unveiled on the 50th anniversary of VE Day. The Royal Canadian Naval Association Burlington branch unveiled the monument May 14, 1995, with approximately 5,000 spectators, including over 1,000 veterans in attendance. The memorial is dedicated to the memory of the 31 warships and the 2,024 naval personnel of the Royal Canadian Navy and the 75 ships and 1,466 merchant seamen of the Canadian Merchant Navy who were unfortunately lost during the Second World War. The monument has 3 components. The main component is the memorial cairn listing on the front face the names of 31 warships of the Royal Canadian Navy and the date they were lost. Also shown is the lost 2,024 naval personnel and the 1,466 merchant seamen. The second component, topping the cairn, is a 6-foot bronze statue of a Canadian seaman in the rig of the day saluting his lost shipmates, titled The Salute. The main remembrance wall along the rear of the monument lists all the warships that served in the Royal Canadian Navy, including HMCS Oakville. On the rear of the remembrance wall are listed the names of the 370 ships that served in the Canadian Merchant Navy. The bell of HMCS Burlington is mounted atop the center column of the ship's remembrance wall. Directly behind the wall are 4 25-foot flagpoles flying the flags of Canada, the province of Ontario, the white ensign of the Royal Canadian Navy, 1939 to 1945, and the red ensign of the Canadian Merchant Navy, 1939 to 1945. The monument is lit by floodlight every night. The cairn and the memorial wall are Cambrian black granite. All of the ship's names are sandblasted in and painted gold. The deck is blue marble with black trim. The size is 14 feet wide by 16 feet deep. On each side of the memorial are 2 flower beds with 2 benches. Funding for this naval monument came from club members, many Canadian legions in Ontario, cities and towns in Canada that have ships named after their city, and many residents of all areas from all parts of Canada and local businesses and service clubs. There were over 415 individuals who contributed directly to the Memorial Building Fund, as well as literally thousands who donated cash in the many malls and shopping plazas where fundraising displays were set up. The funds for the monument were raised in 10 months, and a small surplus accrued, which started the Perpetual Care Trust, so that the monument can be maintained. From start to finish, it took 22 months to complete. The monument is located near the willow trees in Spencer Smith Park, Burlington. In addition to HMCS Oakville, the main memorial wall also honors HMCS Sackville, another flower corvette. Like the Oakville, the Sackville played a major role in the Battle of the Atlantic. The Sackville, built at St. John, New Brunswick, and commissioned in December 1941, served most of the war as a mid-ocean convoy escort in the North Atlantic. It too engaged with multiple U-boats while in service. After the war, she was used for oceanographic research for many years and was retired in 1982. HMCS Sackville is currently berthed at a wharf in downtown Halifax, Nova Scotia, and was designated a National Historic Site of Canada in 1988 because it is a representative example of a Flower-class corvette and the part that she played in the Battle of the Atlantic. She is one of the last Flower-class corvettes known to exist, as all of the others have been scrapped, including HMCS Oakville. To serve aboard a corvette required unflinching courage and tenacity, as demonstrated by the glorious deeds of Canadian soldiers escorting merchant convoys. The corvette remains the symbol of the Royal Canadian Navy's relentless fight against enemy submarines during World War II. The old sailor crossing the bar. He was getting a little older and his hair was falling fast. He sat around the Naval Club telling stories of the past, of a war that he had fought in and the deeds that he had done. In his exploits with his buddies, they were heroes, every one. And though sometimes to his neighbors his tales became a joke, all his Navy buddies listened, for they knew whereof he spoke. But we'll hear his tales no longer, for our shipmate passed away, and the world is a little poorer, for a sailor died today. He was just a common sailor, and his ranks are growing thin, but his presence should remind us we may need this kind again. For when countries are in conflict, then we find the sailor's part is to clean up all the troubles that others often start. If we cannot give him honor while he's here to hear the praise, then at least give him homage at the end of his days. Perhaps a simple notice in a paper that would say, "Our country is in mourning because a sailor passed away." We will remember him. Looking for more great content like this? Why not check out the Oakville Historical Society's website, YouTube channel, or Facebook and Instagram pages.